Hello everyone, today we got to play Khora, Rise of an Empire. So this is a Gen Con pickup, so we're super excited to play it. But before we get into it, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, because board games, right?
And new board games you can't see, well, you might see them on the web, other places, but you won't see them in stores right now because this one hasn't been released yet.
Oh, so nice. But, tell us more about this, Randy.
Obviously, it's a 2021 release. Mm-hmm. We presume. I mean, it may come out in 2022, but we have it in 2021. It's got a rating already of 7.4 on Board Game Geek, and rank is 6,929, which doesn't surprise me. Usually games don't pop into the top 100 immediately. Yeah. 2 to 4 players, 75 minutes, age 14 up. That's probably about right. It is got a little complexity. That's I call this a medium level. They call it expert. The iELLO has historically not been known for making heavy games.
This is not an expert.
This is heavy for iELLO, but that would be probably medium for anybody else.
Yes.
Because this is not heavy, really.
This is a medium
it's heavy in subject matter in the sense that it's historic, which is heavy, but the play of it is not heavy. As far as design, it's actually designed by, it looks like a group, a headquarter simulation game club. There's not a name, it's just a group, so that's interesting. Have to check out their work. Artists, I should say, are David Chapulet and Jocelyn Millet. I'm assuming it's not Millet and Chapulet. It's got an EP. Publisher is iELLO. And this is a card drafting, dice rolling, action selection, variable player powers game.
I don't see heavy card drafting in this one, though.
We didn't play with the card drafting.
Oh, right, because of the bidding you do card
draft.
Yes,
because it was a first-time play. We didn't know what the drafting was going to be, so it made sense to draft. MSRP is $50 on this. It appears it's not actually set. Normally, you would see it on the Board Game Geek site, but I guess it's not been set officially on their site.
What did you pay for it?
I don't remember. You're asking me to remember when I bought 50,000 games in a blur. I have no idea. They all
not
blended
50,000. It better
I
not
paid.
be 50,000. Yeah. All right. So let's start talking about quality of pieces. So you have some very fantastic inlaid boards. Even your personal player power is actually inlaid in the board, which I thought was really nice. And the markers, and you have the wooden shapes that go in the marker to keep up your tracks. I thought that was really brilliant.
These actually, there's multiple of these, and there's 7 of them, and you play up to 4. So there's going to be variance in your variable player powers. These are you can pick choose your color of choice and still get a random variable power. I thought that was cool.
So that was nice. And then you have your roll tiles, the ones that you're going to pick that you place dice upon to kind of choose what you want to play. And then you have some cardboard tokens, some cardboard money, cardboard scrolls. Those are a good thickness, good playability. Nothing particularly fancy about them. And then you have your wood player
all of them are screen
markers.
printed.
Those are screen printed.
Except
those
for the
really
little
nice.
token that marks which level you're at in development, but everything else is screen printed.
Yeah, and then your dice, they are kind of the smaller.
I guess these aren't either, any of your markers.
So the dice themselves are a little bit on the smaller level, but they're actually really pretty. They've got the see-through, like sea glass green, clear, and then black over there.
Yeah, I really like the shade of blue. There's black and orange.
So the player colors are actually really pretty. Overall, for quality of components, I feel like this one deserves at least a 7.
The cards are not finished. They're okay. They're not
great.
They're good thickness.
They're good thickness. I don't feel like they're gonna go out on me.
The box has a really nice storage system for storing it. The only problem is it doesn't look like there's room for sleeving the cards.
I don't really think that. Well,
I would sleeve
if you're
these.
heavy. If you're heavy. If you play this a lot,
these cards are not the best quality. They're okay, but they're not the best.
I think they're fine thickness. I just don't think they're going to finish.
I don't think you can sleeve them and fit them in that inlay as far as the box storage.
So what would you score it then?
Because they didn't make the box storage be able to handle the inlay, I'm going to dock it a little bit. I'm going to give it a 7.5. It's still pretty darn good for a iELLO game.
So I agree with the 7.5. I love the inlays. I didn't realize there was a storage system over there. So everything else, very functional, very, very functional, even the player, everything. So as far as that's concerned, I agree, 7.5. So let actually talk about themes. So obviously this is Rome. Like we're different cities of Rome, and
It's not Rome. It's the historic time. You got Sparta. You've got, I don't know what Miletus is. Athens is Greece. So it's
Italy.
The ancient times.
Yeah, ancient time. So I was thinking Roman Empire, like all that around there.
Well, I'm sure Rome is part of it, but I'm just saying it's not. It's all the ancient empires that were existing back then.
So super interesting. I think on the back of your players, it tells you more about that particular. So there is some history in there,
the civilizations.
Which I can appreciate a little bit. As far as art goes, I love the art. I think it's really pretty. Very eye-catching, so I really appreciated that. Theme-wise, I think it looks good on the.
Well, it also integrates, for example, the Spartans were all about building up the military, which makes sense. Mine was all about trade. It made sense.
And mine was all about developing, playing cards, which allowed me, it was more. Playing cards give me a bunch of different things and culture and stuff like that.
Right.
Like it just feels very Athens. Athens. I was like, oh, that makes sense for me. So overall, I think they did incorporate the theme a little bit as far as player powers and player abilities, and then going out
and the art's so pretty.
And the art is very pretty. I'm probably a 7.52 for theme.
I'm higher than that.
What are you?
I'm probably a 9.
Oh wow!
I really love the color scheme on this. I love
the color scheme is gorgeous.
I mean, even the coins. Even though I don't like cardboard coins, they really did a nice job with the coins. They didn't make them circular. They made them, different random, not random shape, but the edges are not straight. And they put, a really nice looking owl on them, and they look metallic, even though they're not. I would have liked to have seen some, better pieces as far as the cardboard scrolls and some of that. Yeah. But apart from that, there's not much more they could have done to improve this, I don't think.
Okay. Well, I mean, I could probably stretch it to 8. I don't think I could give this a 9 on theme. I don't think there's enough story to the theme.
Well, I mean, they went through and explained what each of the civilizations are. The book has a history on them. I mean, I think it's really well done.
Okay, well, he's a 9. He's an 8. I'm an 8. It's okay. It's really good. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about the rulebook now.
So the rulebook is 16 pages front to back. It has kind of a half cover. It's not a full cover, but it's
still pretty.
Cover.
Yeah, beautiful art.
It's really well laid out. It's got nice, beautiful big pictures in it. It shows you how to do the component setup. It's got a nice picture illustration of how to do the main board. There's sidebars similar, but not as in depth as what you get with one of the iELLO series, but they do have them. And they have kind of shorthands, notes about the sections.
They were listening to you complain about it last year.
This is a really well done rule book. The only thing, there are several places where they left spaces between the words out. It's not a big deal, just noticeable as you're reading through. There's places where they could have edited better. It didn't impact understanding of the rules as you're reading through, but it just looks sloppy.
So give it a score, my friend. Give it a score.
All right. I guess, another thing they did interesting was they actually had references on each page, basically, of all the things that are referred to on that page.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I'm not sure if it adds anything, really, because it's kind of obscure. It's just like, okay, there's drachmas mentioned here, and there's
if you're doing a quick look, if you're doing a quick look through, and you look at those and say, okay, I'm looking for victory points, I could see that being helpful. Yeah. If you're doing a search real quick in the middle of the game.
But yeah, it's different. It's not something you see very often.
Well, I mean, hey, they're trying something new to see if it works. I'm down.
How much, and then there's the history on the back, which again I like a lot. I'm going to go ahead and give this probably a 9 because it's done really well.
Yeah. Okay, I believe it. All right, so then let's actually talk about gameplay. So gameplay is actually pretty straightforward. You start out with 2 dice. You'll eventually earn a 3rd dice if you so choose, depending on what you develop, your culture. So you have these worker or your role selection, right? Everyone has their own set, so you don't have to work with anybody. And so you choose the 2 roles you're going to play. But notice that the roles have a value on them. So when you roll the dice, you're hoping to get that value. If not, you have to make up the value with the citizens.
You left out the events, because first thing that happens is you're going to reveal the event for the round.
For some reason I don't really include events because they just appear and then you deal with them.
Well, you don't deal with them in this one right away. In this one, you immediately reveal the event. You don't deal with it until the next to the last phase of the round.
Technically, if you want to go through it, first is event announcement, so everyone hears what the event is. B is you gain the taxes, which at the starting of the game you don't have anything. So for every point in taxes, which is another chart that you climb, you get money for it, and then you roll your dice, okay? So when you roll your dice, for example, I have 2 4s, okay? So then I need to pick my roll selection. I have to pick 2 different tiles. I cannot put both dice on the same tile, which is a bummer. I wanted to do that multiple times, but no, I have to have rules. So then I could be like, all right, well, I got 2 4s, so I'm going to do a military. That's a 4 action. But hey, you know what? I really want to also play a political card. So that is actually 4. So how am I going to meet that difference? So the political card's 5, but I only rolled a 4. So I'm actually going to end up having to pay a civilian when we go to reveal, or citizen when we go to reveal, to add basically the pips to the dice. You can always go lower. You can't go higher unless you pay the cost. So then, once those actions are chosen, you complete those actions during a phase C. Now, here's the thing. It starts with the lowest number first, so whoever has the lowest number, and then if there's multiple people with the lowest number, it goes by the first player token, okay? And then it goes around the board. Really, the only thing that really matters is military. Because there's a limited amount of tokens out on the board, and so, hey, you might grab that one, and that other, the person behind you is also eligible, but that you took it. So there's a little bit of player interaction there. Well, just worker placement kind of, hey, I took that, you can't have it now. And then, so you go around the table after all the actions are completed, and then you move on to progress. Now, progress is where you can raise your tracks that are actually on your player board. And this is very important because economy gives you money when you do a trade action. Culture, there's a action that gives you victory points for every culture action you do. But also, as you build up culture, it also increases your taxes. So you get money every round for doing that. So kind of important. And that track also ends up giving you another dice. So that gives you 3 actions instead of the 1. And then finally, your military. Obviously, as you go up the military track, you gain glory, as well as this is what equals out when you go to collect troops. This is how many troops you're going to collect. So all of those are important. You get 1 that you can buy for free, right? So you just have the coins, you pay it, and then you advance. However, you can opt to play a scroll to do it a second time, but again, you still have to pay the coins that is necessary to do that.
You can play a scroll to play it a 3rd time or a 4th time, depending on how many scrolls you have and money.
I thought it was limited to 1.
As many scrolls as you can afford.
I could have.
And how much money you have.
I'm so sad, guys. I could have done it a cajillion times. I didn't know that.
Yes. And it don't have it to be the same chart. You can go up multiple different charts with that.
Yeah. There's also a couple other things that you can do with scrolls. Like a scroll can give you 3 civilians, if you're desperate. 2 scrolls can actually modify the requirements to play a card into some other stuff in case you needed it. So scrolls are actually very helpful in different functions. I found the most useful is building up my tracks. So that was very beneficial. So that's essentially it. So you go, and then, so after the progress, then you do the event resolution. So whatever the event says to do, you do that at that point, and then the actual achievement. So if you meet certain criteria, for an example, if you're the first person to get to economic level 4, then you get a bonus. There's also ones for victory points, having troops, as well as playing out cards. So there's a bunch of different strategies. Typically, I would say that not one person can get them all. It's all divided up, and if you go after them accordingly. I got 4 though this game, so that was nice.
And how did that pan out for you?
You won by 2 coins. 2 coins, my friend, and it's listen. He only won because the second round before last, I rolled 3 1s and couldn't do anything. I could. I had problems. Listen, that roll sucked. Like, I needed 1 more civilian to get the development, which is what I needed, which would have given me, like, a kajillion points.
So technically we tied as far as
yes.
victory point score, but then the tiebreaker is coins, and I had 2 more than she did.
Yes.
I like winning by a narrow margin. It makes me feel all the more better.
I want to poke you with a stick. I gotta say, this game was a lot of fun. I enjoyed this. Like, yeah, it's a medium game. It's not super indexed, but I was having fun, and I was still took me like thinking, but like my brain's not dead now. Like, this is really great. I loved it. I love going up tracks. I like building stuff, and there's definitely your cards. There's a lot of engine building.
The cards. The cards were my favorite part.
Well, there's some engine building going on because you're like, okay, and I really wish it would have been fun to. I want to play it again while drafting because some of my cards didn't really work together.
Yeah. But
at the same time, I was like, well, they're still good cards. I know if I would have drafted, you could have gotten a better flow.
Yeah. I mean, when I got my cards, I was like, I got really ones that really worked well together. The problem was I didn't know when I was ever going to get to play them. So it's like there's 9 rounds in the game and it's done. And it felt like, I'm going to need like 12 rounds at least to get these things going. So my engine sputtered at the beginning and then it started going towards the end, but then the game ended and it was like I could have done so much more with this.
Yeah, I mean, but then, at the same time, I maxed out 2 of my tracks. Mm-hmm. Not very far on the second one. Guys, I just completely, I don't need military. It's fine. I'll just make plenty of money and buy stuff. But you know what, though? We weren't that far apart, and I definitely think there's a strategy with just the military, or with just trading.
Even your dad, who looked like for the whole game was so far behind us because he didn't raise his victory points. At the end, he got up there within
because
10,
he focused on the military.
Yeah, because he had so many in-game bonuses, he just shot right up there.
Right, so it ended up working out. I mean, so I think I didn't see anything that was blaring one thing unbalanced or anything else like that. I thought it was an even play. I thought it was absolutely a blast to play. I definitely want to play this again. I'm not going to lie, this is probably going to end up staying up here in my section.
Whenever I saw it, because I didn't even know about this. Rob actually found this one.
Surprise!
This was not on my radar. And Rob mentioned it, because I don't usually think iELLO. I don't think these kind of games. So
yeah, I mean, iELLO has some fun games, but they're typically very light.
I kind of breeze over iELLO when I'm going through reviewing my picks. In this case, I saw it, I marked it as a check on it and see what it looks like game, but I didn't go in depth with it. Rob immediately, this was one he was going for, and once he talked to me about what it actually was, I was like, how did I not pay attention to this one? Because this one clearly was in your purview of games.
Look at this beautiful art. No, I'm super excited you picked this one up. Like I said, this one's probably going to end up staying up here on one of these shelves, because I definitely would love to play this again. Which is hard to do around here sometimes, replay a game.
Well, given the fact that you said I have to play through everything on the pool table that we just got new before we can play anything else.
I know, I did say that. Well, here's the thing, guys. Listen, our self of shame is more of
it's a room of shame.
It's like a bookcase.
No, it's a room. It's a room of shame.
It is kind of a room of shame. And so I said, well, since we bought them, we need to play them.
But it's actually a room of opportunity. I don't call it shame, but whatever.
Yeah, room of opportunity.
And again, it's my longevity of my life. Because if I said I'm going to complete all of these before I die, if I'm not complete, I can't die.
Hey, you know what? Whatever it takes for us to get to the 50th wedding anniversary. So
you said 15th.
50th.
I'm going to die in 10 years now because you're killing me off.
No, 50th. Guys, I want a 50th wedding anniversary. It's okay. Score it. We forgot to score it. We're talking about how much we love it. Score it. What are you going to give it? I know what I want to give it, but I'm not sure.
With one playthrough, it's hard because I think it's got lasting appeal. I'm trying to think. I mean, you've got 7 different characters to try out. Mm-hmm. You've got the cards that you're drafting, then you're going to be able to build that. I like that. You've got
We didn't even touch like half of the
there's
political
14 swappable events and 2 that you play always, so it's really 7 mixed in, and they come in different orders. So it's really there's a lot of variability in the event deck. So it's got a lot of growth in it. And there's a lot of different ways to score points. So it's a point salad type game, which I like. Given my first impression of this, I am at least an 8.5, if I'm not higher. I hate to go to 9 on the first playthrough without knowing any better, but I'm right up there. This was a pleasant surprise.
Honestly, I think this is a 9. I'm thinking about all the games I absolutely love, and this contends on the medium scale. Like if I'm, like if I'm thinking of like the harder games, obviously Pipeline, Great Western Trail, there's some other ones. But if I'm thinking I want something a little bit lighter, this I think is going to be one of my go-tos.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. I am very happy with a 9 for this, and I'm completely okay giving it that. This was kind of a surprise, and I love surprises in this case.
Yeah, I mean, I did my walkthrough of all the purchases, and the one I picked out that was going to be the surprise for me was the Picture Perfect. This turned into a big surprise for me just playing it. I mean, the one I was most excited to get to the table was Picture Perfect. This one, I was not expecting to like as much as I did, and I thought I'd like it, but I didn't think I'd like it this much.
Yeah. So this was a very pleasant surprise for this one.
So when this comes out, go check it out. It is worth it.
Definitely, guys. It's beautiful.
And I hope iELLO sticks with this expert series. Again, I don't consider this expert. I'm thinking of the expert series from Lookout Games, where it's clearly is heavy.
Well, I mean, you're thinking of Galler. Like when you say expert, I'm thinking Gallers. I'm thinking of.
Well, I mean, Hollertile, Bonfire, all those are heavy games. That's expert level to me. This one is not that. But if for iELLO to release something under this brand, if that helps, it makes me think they're going to release more under this brand.
Well, and in that case, it tells you, okay, well, we'll check those out.
iELLO got my attention now.
Yeah, exactly. So, absolutely fantastic. Well, guys, we hope you enjoyed hanging out with us tonight, and we really want to see you guys back. So we'll catch you guys later, all right? Bye.